You have a message. You want to share that message. You want it to be social, to go viral, and spread across the planet. But how do you get started? Tune into Amplify, featuring host Ken Rochon. This show is here to help you take that message and channel it through the most effective marketing techniques to not only be successful, but have a positive impact on the world. Tune in live
Monday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time and 11 a.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America Influencers Channel.
and get amplified.
Welcome, welcome. We have a wonderful show today. Beautiful weather here in DC. And how are you, Andrea?
I'm absolutely fabulous. Today is an absolutely beautiful day, like you said, and I had a really productive weekend. I had celebrated my grandmother's 95th birthday party, so it was really nice to have people from out of state to celebrate her, and she's doing wonderful and well, and it's exciting to be able to be with someone who shares that great of a life, who is still very healthy.
Super. And what have you been up to in the last week since Monday?
Well, so some really cool things have been going on. We just finished up with the Energy Science and Technology Conference with Aaron Murakami, and boy, was that amazing with Griffin and Eric Dollard, Dr. Eric Dollard, and all the wonderful machines and free energy and so forth that they've been doing. And we are now prepping to go to Tesla Tech, which will allow us to continue helping people with their science and technology with Tesla turbine engines. So that'll be super fun. We're going to go with Dr. Guy Wilson and Jeremiah Ferwalda. We're going there with Steve Elswick is the one who runs Tesla Tech. So that'll be super fun. And I've been really busy working with Power of Purpose, who, by the way, is our guest next Monday. So Power of Purpose is a fundraising community who helps other nonprofits create more money so that they can do the things that they love. So it's been lots of time, lots of energy getting that all put together. So the background behind all of that is occurring.
And let's give a shout out to our sponsors, because without them, golly gee, we wouldn't be on the air.
Absolutely. So that is opus.finance and bees.social, BEES.social, both cryptocurrency information for the people by the people, the EMFfix.com for these necklaces, and mymakeuplady.com, Lynn Benavides, there's Ken's necklace as well, the Umbrella Syndicate, the Red Carpet Connection, Perfect Publishing, Big Events USA, Voice America Influencers Channel, menfashion.com, and that's for the shirts that Ken wears on a lot of his speaking performances and his radio. Not today. Why? It's Comfort Day.
No, it's not Comfort Day.
Oh.
They're all in the cleaners. I wore 9 of them.
So he's got all these beautiful shirts. I also went with t-shirt today, so I just figured it was t-shirt day, so I thought we were good.
It's called Dry Cleaner Day.
And of course, we want you to remember the keepsmilingmovement.com. That's our charity of choice. As you can see behind Ken, we are and inspiring smiles in the world. So it says keep smiling at the top there. So we definitely want you to do that. Our mission is to, how are you creating and inspiring smiles in the world? So that's the keepsmilingmovement.com. We thrive on donations to fulfill our mission of creating smiles to save lives, to create a dose of hope, so we can help others by saving their lives. So thank you so much for that, Ken, and thank you to our sponsors.
Well, God bless. So why don't we bring our Cameo on?
I would love that. Let me get his screen on first. Stephen Sless, you get more with Sless. I love his slogan. It's not allowing me to, things are moving here. I always love this thing because you go to click the button and then it moves people as you're clicking the button. This is Stephen Sless, so let me pull up more information about him while he's there in front of Ken. This guy not only has a great beard, we're going to have to do we have a Bald and Beautiful book. We'll have to do a Bearded and Beautiful book. So that we can learn all about people with beards and how wonderful they are. So I can hear giggling. So Stephen, he does a lot of amazing things. Here, I'm trying to get him pulled up here. Here we go. He has nearly 20 years of mortgage industry experience, 13 years devoted to reverse mortgages. And today, the reason that we're having him on is we're doing a reverse.
I
So
get
our
it.
first guest is talking about reverse mortgages. Our second guest is talking about the reversal of things that might go wrong in the brain and empowering it. So we're doing a reverse. So Stephen, is one of the only mortgage professionals to have earned the Certified Long-Term Care designation, who has acquired the critical tools necessary to discuss the subject of longevity and acute consequences on a client's family. So very exciting to have him here. And he is from your area. He's from Maryland. So he is a local to you and is looking forward to get his picture taken for the Keep Smiling movement.
And he is in Maryland now?
I
Yes.
am, yeah.
What city?
Born and bred. I live in Carroll County. Grew up in the Pikesville, Owings Mills area.
Well, God bless. I mean, seriously, God bless you on that.
Thank
So,
you.
we're gonna have to see you this week. So you're not part of the bearded club, or I mean, there's a club that is for people that have phenomenal beards, and you belong in it.
Oh my gosh, I consume so much beard content during the course of the week. I have a pretty extensive beard collection, beard products, and yeah, it started out as a COVID beard, and it just took on a whole new life, and now it's a part of the brand. And I figure, hey, if Tom Selleck has the cool Tom Selleck mustache, I got to do something in the reverse mortgage industry to make me stand out. So I'm going to grow a big beard.
Well, there's a guy named Dylan King who is a realtor in Columbia. He's moved to Texas, but he has the bearded realtor, and so
I like it.
I'll have to connect you with him.
Absolutely, yeah.
But there is actually a club, obviously, sporting the best beards in the world, and so I think you are a candidate. I would only say that because your beard goes into your backdrop of your chair. You
Yes.
add maybe some color of some blue, the blue beard.
Definitely.
Beard or
I
something.
need to get a shorter chair or a different color chair, because I do get that quite a bit.
Yeah, because you're kind of looking like your beard actually extends, but you're not symmetrical right now, so it actually looks like it's off center.
And I can tell you too, I'm very glad I went with the polo option today. I had
black shirt
I
before?
started to put a suit on and then changed my mind last minute, and glad I did. I didn't want to.
So it would look like a reverse bow tie, a jacket. Is that correct? Is it kind of the idea?
Most of my nice shirts are in the cleaners too, and so
Okay. Well,
here-
I would
here we are.
very much like to have you come into our office this week, and I would like to make let's see, I guess it would be Bold, Beautiful, and Beard book. I think that's what I want.
Bold, bearded, beautiful. I don't know. So
Good.
we have to think
Something
about
like
that. Uh-huh.
I mean, you're much better looking than this guy.
Oh
So-
wow.
So we have to get you in because that guy is dominating the beard scene right now, and he should not be. Just so we're clear.
I agree.
And this guy doesn't. This guy doesn't even have a smile. I mean, there's no reason that he should be dominating. So I have an issue with him too.
You got these things. You got these ready to go. I love
Well, I mean, when you're inspired by a person with a beard, you have to make sure you're ready to go, right? Now, this guy is a little more, I guess, he's more Viking.
Yeah,
Viking.
yeah.
Now, but no smiles though. I mean, the fact that you have a beard means that you have a smile because you have everything you need.
And I think we're making beards socially acceptable in the business community, where for the longest time beards have had this stigma of Vikings and big tough guys, of which
That's a badass.
I think I'm pretty tough, but
yeah, it's not about tough. It's about lovable.
That's a good one right there.
Yeah, it's about lovable though.
I can't get my mustache to grow out that far.
To flare like that. I mean,
Yeah,
that is an art.
I've tried.
All right, so talk to us about how you bring smiles to the world.
Well, I like to think that it starts with my kids. Got my oldest is almost 5, 2 adorable girls, and my little one's 2.5. So the smiles start with them every day, and that of course brings a smile to my face. But beyond that, professionally, we're also changing the way that retirement is done in America today, and we're bettering the lifestyles of our clients who happen to be 60 and above and own a home, and we're helping them to use what is in most cases their largest asset, their home equity, and convert that home equity into the funds needed to live a more comfortable retirement. Thus putting a smile on their face, because they're going to be able to live in the home that they love for as long as they want to, without the worry or concern about running out of funds.
So I understand all that and I agree with it, and I think it's beautiful, but I would just challenge that a beard can be your biggest asset. That is, I mean, if a beard makes you a brand that causes everyone to want to do business with you, that could be millions. And that's potentially more than a house is worth.
Very true. And we have a beard emoji right around the corner. I've been working with my graphics department to come up with a really interesting beard emoji, which is going to be a part of our brand. So keep an eye out for that. That'll be on our website coming soon.
So, Stephen, in all seriousness, I know there's been a lot of levity towards the beards, but I want to actually say something that I hope you receive as not only serious, but also a challenge or a gauntlet, as it were. I would like, on the air, Voice America, to say that you're a good person with a good heart. I see that. I feel it. And I'm looking forward to meeting you. I'd like to challenge you to find 50 people that have good hearts that also have good beards that smile, because what I just showed on the internet is the top searches are people that actually do not smile. They are, I will call them aggressive. I'll call them dominant, but I don't call them friendly. So that was those searches, by the way, were done during the show, and they were the first 4 of 8, and the other 8 were not even pretty either. So I'll just say, you have a smile that goes with your beard, and I think that in a time where we need hope and we need joy, we also need smiles to prove that we're customer service oriented. And if you're angry with a beard, you're basically saying, I'm just angry. It doesn't matter about the beard. You're just an angry person. So I would like to challenge you to come to the office this week, get your photo with your beautiful smile, your beautiful beard, and then to help me show that the bearded, not just the bald, are also the friendlies that you want to work with.
Challenge accepted. I'm up for that. Absolutely. I'm all about it.
Well, I'm so excited that you're in the area, because this makes it too easy. I can't tell you how often we do international or national calls, and I say, wow, it's just a flight to BWI, because our office is right near BWI. It's BWI Commerce Park.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So you're probably 30 minutes away, roughly.
Absolutely. Just went past there. We were down Northern Virginia this past weekend. So
well, what's
right
weird is I saw someone with a beard and I waved and I thought it might be you. It's weird. All right. So I look forward to meeting you. And more importantly, you have an inspiring story, I'm guessing, right?
I like to think so.
Okay. So you don't need to share it today, but I'm going to send you a template, 2,000 words of how you inspire the world, how you make the world better, how you create abundance, how you solve problems. And we'd like to publish it to go out to 10 million people. And
he's committed to it, because we already talked about this. So,
Yeah.
I said the reason I was so excited about him meeting you, Ken, is because he is so close to you. It's a no brainer to come over.
Well, I already knew
and
he was
get his
committed.
picture.
Anyone that grows a beard like that is committed. I mean, the reason mine's not,
it's commitment.
Every single day, every hour, I'm shaving because I just can't commit to this.
I could shave like that and I'd have the beard come 5 o'clock tonight.
So this proves that you are the man that should be doing this book.
I appreciate it. Challenge accepted. I'm up for it. Can't wait to meet you in person.
Thank you, Stephen. I'll see you later this week.
Thanks, Ken.
And thanks. And then also, if you'd like to give your URL, and then we'll give you some more love later on about,
and by the way,
specifically about the reverse mortgages.
Andrea, in the future, let's just call it Earl, because people know URL is pronounced Earl. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it's the slessgroup.com. The slessgroup.com, and on YouTube at More with Sless. And that's just my social. At More with Sless is the way to find me on social media. And then the website, pretty easy, theslessgroup.com.
Cool. Well, we'll be following up with you more, and then we would love it if you promote that, because I know that reverse mortgages might be able to help some people with their worlds and help them keep a smile on their face. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Steve. See you soon.
So our next guest is Julia Phares. Let me get her on here. Julia, I met through our main sponsor, bees.social. I almost stuttered on the bees there. You caught me. And we lost Ken there for just a moment. Hopefully Ken comes back. He might be getting a drink of coffee here or something like that. But Julia Phares, you can see there, she's not only beautiful, but she has the brain and the brawn and the beauty to go with it. She is the owner and program director for the Atlanta NeuroTherapy Institute. They help modify brainwave activity to lift depression, improve intention, reduce impulsivity, help gain control, overcome hyperactive behaviors, and enhance mental performance. So there doesn't have to be anything theoretically wrong with you. Not that she's ever saying anything's wrong with anyone. However, they can perform at their peak performance when they have everything going and all the wires crossing the way they need to be on the top level. She's been featured on WebMD and in different medical journals. And they also offer EEG biofeedback and neurofeedback, which is a pain-free, drug-free, non-invasive approach to alleviate pain and suffering from symptoms associated with ADHD, autism spectrum disorders, anxiety, insomnia, learning disorders, PTSD, memory loss, fibromyalgia, migraines, traumatic brain injuries, and so much more. And she's just an absolutely beautiful person. Please, so glad to see you, my friend Julia.
Yeah, and I'm back here just trying to figure out how to grow a beard so that I can get that. I mean, I feel like if everybody grows a beard, we'll solve all of our problems. That was a great segment.
Well, let me be clear though, Julie. It's a beard and a smile. I mean, you notice those beards without a smile, they were off my page as quick as I could put them on. So we always have to have a smile with or without a beard.
Yes.
And by the
So
way, you have a beautiful smile.
thank you.
I mean, you
Thank
are
you so
sporting that
much.
smile.
Yeah, I did have those chocolate covered espresso beans, so my smile is a little more intense today. So
Well, it's very interesting to me that someone that when I take a photograph of them, they are happy and then they say, okay, smile. And then they close their smile. I go, that's not the person I want to do business with. That's not the person. So when they smile, I go, that's the person. I show them and they say, oh, that first one, get rid of it, because that's not a smile. So you have a radiant smile, you have positive energy, and thank you so much for supporting the Energy Science Technology Conference.
yes. So yeah, I mean, I really have a rewarding job, so there's a lot to smile about, and I also deal with a lot of pain and heartache with people, but I get to walk through that with them and give them hope. So my perspective is, I often call myself kind of I'm like the anti-establishment, pioneer of what I do, or the Aaron Brockovich of mental health. And thankfully, there are a lot of people that support and think the way that I do on healing the whole person. So using science and technology and research is one answer, but using common sense and human behavior is the rest of the story. So I have a very rewarding job. I get to see people heal. I get to make people smile. And of course, they make me smile. So
Awesome. So why did you pick the Energy Science Technology Conference to sponsor?
it picked me.
It picked you.
So just some quick background, not getting into, trying to make this a story of tragedy. My husband was basically brain injured. He had already had some PTSD. He deployed in the middle of, he was a corporate manager for a major railroad company, very intense, high stress job. Was
And can
deployed.
Can you tell why that is? Because I don't know if I understand that.
He worked as a project engineer for a major railroad company. So he engineered railroad track and managed major projects on a corporate level, as well as just literally from inception to completion of projects and maintenance with 100-person crews.
So I can imagine that would be high tension, but I guess what I'm missing is, can you say what he was feeling or how he shared that was tension for him?
Sure. He already had he had anxiety disorders, and at the time I was ignorant to what that meant. I didn't understand it. I was young. We have 7 children. So I have 7 children and 3 grandchildren. So raising 7 children and being at home and him being gone, and We had some merging family situation, and he was traveling, and it was just a huge stress. He had come from kind of a stressful background as well. Father was military and kind of raised him as if home was a barracks. So he was, in we were at war all the time in his mindset, right? So he had to be prepared for tragedy or an emergency at all times. So he was kind of amped up. He deployed at the end of his contract with the reserves. He was deployed, and that caused him a lot of stress, being in the Middle East and going through that situation. When he returned to a very high stress situation, he kind of broke, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
His work was excellent. So his performance wasn't an issue, but the ability to get to excellence was absolutely tragic for him. And he couldn't manage home and all the things. And he was just being beaten down, and ultimately had a mini stroke in the back of his head from the stress and anxiety, the high blood pressure, which we didn't find out until years later. But for 5 years, emotionally, mentally, and cognitively, I lost my husband. He was just a shell of a person that I thought I would have to admit to a facility with the VA.
Well, first of all,
I had-
Julia, thank you. That amount of vulnerability, but also the specifics, is quite different than what you slid over. So I just want to say that's big time. So congratulations to you and what you're accomplishing, because that's no small task.
It's been a long road. It's been a long, hard, worthy road. And this is how I discovered neurofeedback. However, I had a group of friends in the alternative therapies and medical field, and I was turned on to a very generic, simple form of neurofeedback, or neurological biofeedback, if you will. I actually nearly pawned a house to get the money to do it, and ended up having to do it at home by myself. So I had to do all the training, learn how to do it. And it didn't completely heal him at the time, but it awakened his brain. So he was experiencing brain injury from the past, and then he had this brain injury from the stroke. But I woke him up, and he went from being almost psychotic and checked out and unable to process and communicate with us and with everyday life, to making eye contact and realizing that something was wrong, at least. And he was coming back to me. And so I just dug deeper and went further.
How did that happen? Can you go into a little detail there? How that happened?
Sure. So what neurofeedback does, and what it did for him, and at least on a simple and smaller scale in this case, is electrodes are placed in an area that's discovered of dysregulation. So we do a brain map, find dysregulation of brainwave activity. This doesn't mean acute damage. We're not measuring acute damage, but surface brainwave activity where neurons have been affected or new pathways have been formed by certain behaviors. So I'll give you an analogy. So imagine that you're standing at a forest and you're like, okay, I've got to get across, I've got to get through this forest, but there's brush and there's just no pathway through, except for a really not ideal path that goes around and through the woods and over the hills and through the rocks. And it's just not an ideal path, and it's the long way around. What neurotherapy is going to do is create that ideal path and go, okay, this is a better way to get from point A to point B. This is the regulated way. And we're going to clear that path by going over and over and over and beating this path. And eventually you've got a clear path from point A to point B that works much better. It takes less time, and there are less obstacles in the way. So this is a really simple version of what this does. So
Can I give you another version?
Sure.
Okay.
Can
I give you one more? I'm going to give you one. Can I give you one?
Go ahead.
Okay. Since we're on the bearded theme, it would be like having a beard, and it's like this huge gap here, and there's no follicles growing, and you're causing the follicles to grow, so you have a full beard.
Yes, that's exactly what I was saying.
Yeah, thank you for indulging.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So
if you ever have me back on, I'm gonna have a beard. I'm growing a beard.
So our audience knows you a little better before we go to break. What is a little more about you? Like, where were you born? What was your childhood like?
I was born in San Francisco, California, to two heroin addict parents, and I lived in Golden Gate Park as a child. And in the Mission District. And so my childhood was very, very interesting, and taught me a lot about people and human behavior, and a lot about tragedy and recovery and healing. So it's not tragic. It's very inspiring, and it's a reason to smile because people do heal. And they're, even in the midst of tragedy and horrible situations like homelessness and drug addiction, there are amazing things that happen amongst people, and humans do some amazing things within that even. So
So,
that was my
what point
childhood.
in your childhood did you, I think, was a defining moment that caused you to be who you are today?
Defining moment in my childhood. I don't know that there was a defining moment in my childhood. However, I was a teen mother, and a defining moment that changed me to want to proceed with all of the dreams and plans that I had in my mind that I knew were good came at the birth of my daughter at 17 in a group home. That was the moment that I decided that life would change because I was going to give her something different than what I had.
Are you close with your parents?
Both of my parents are deceased as a result of their drug use.
Gotcha. Okay. So the reason I'm asking these questions is because there's obviously people that have dealt with similar or worse experiences and they've given up hope, and you chose to create something magical in your life. And we look at in the Amplified what it is to be a leader, what it is to actually choose to be persistent, to choose hope, and to make a difference. So comment on that real quickly, and then we're going to go to break in a minute or two.
Sure. And it is a choice. So hope, healing, and recovery are a choice. And I was knocked down a lot, but I had to choose to get back up every time, and failure could not be an option. So, there's always this argument between nurture versus nature. And surely there's a combination of both of those. But were it not for the people around me, and surrounding myself with people that had something that I wanted, I may not have had the opportunities that I did. So while I wasn't given
Well,
handouts,
Julia,
yes,
you attracted that.
thank you.
Yeah.
I received that.
Yeah, please do receive that, because it doesn't happen. There's no luck. It's actually what you create, and you chose. And so you actually attracted people that you wanted to be like and work with.
I did. And I went after them, and I went after the pieces that they had that I could apply. And so my life has been a combination of pieces of other people's lives that did what I needed done in my life.
Did you want to give a shout out to your children and your husband?
Absolutely. My husband, my biggest support, my biggest fan, and the hardest working man in every way, John, and my children. So I'm going to name them. Ayana, who just had her second child, Emily, the mother of my grandson, Samuel, Nathan, Jacob, Sarah, and Maddie are my children.
That's awesome. And you created all that too.
Wonderful, wonderful children that give me joy and smiles every day.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that we are very much on the same sheet of music with regard to smiles actually cause the world to be happier, and us ourselves. So, Andrea, take us out with the sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Thank you so much to our sponsors, bees.social, that's BEES.social, the crypto literacy program for the people, by the people, also the Umbrella Syndicate, Perfect Publishing, Big Events USA, the Red Carpet Connection, mymmakeuplady.com, Lynn Benavides, the EMFfix.com for these necklaces. And thanks so much to Julia for sponsoring the Energy, Science, and Technology Conference this last week, and for Voice America Influencers channel. And keep in mind, thekeepsmilingmovement.com, where you too can help save lives by creating smiles with a dose of hope. And we'll be back after these messages.
All right, we're all clear. Andrea, it's definitely coming from your headset. What happened to the old one?
I don't know where it is right now. So, I will mute
Julia
myself as much as possible.
Let me-
I'll
actually,
see if
let
I can
me-
find it right now.
Let me see if I can actually walk you through how to.
This doesn't have a thing on it. It's my computer and my computer running. So let me see if it's in the car. Hold on.
There's a setting on Zoom that I can walk you through real quick.
All right, sure. What would you like me to do?
So
and
at the
Julia,
bottom
do not
left,
feel bad about the beard.
by the mute button. Click the little
Go
arrow.
naked.
Hey guys, I love you guys, but I need you to not talk so I can hear him. What do I need to do?
Just click that arrow by the mute button at the bottom left.
I already did.
Audio settings.
Mm-hmm.
And then make sure audio selected, and then down towards the bottom there's a thing that says suppress background noise.
It's on high already.
It's already on high?
Yep. Yeah. As I said, my computer, well, I can turn off the automatically adjust microphone volume.
Yeah, go ahead and uncheck that too.
Okay, I've got that checked. And I don't, let me go check the car. My headset might be on.
Sure.
Big light on my head. You see it?
It's beautiful. I'm thinking about moving mine closer so that I can have
It's
mine
my glow.
right here. No, but if I hold this like this, I can be like you.
Well,
Ken, I can see myself.
my circle light's not doing that. It's the one above me that's doing that. Just right there.
I love it. I mean, if I could, I'd put an extra smile right up there. That's
A
beautiful.
glow. It's my natural.
Hang on, Ken. Can you tilt down? I'm checking something on my face here.
Okay, 1 second. Let me just get in there really quick.
There we go. Yeah, I think I got it. Thanks.
So, Julia, we're going to talk more about your company in the second part and what your company does for people. I'm going to invite you to be a part of this Dose of Hope. It's a $36,000 value. It gets out to 10 million people. You're going to be invited for free to be part of it because you are completely, I see, about positivity, smiles, and I'll call it unstoppability. How about that?
Funny, Diamond Dallas Page's book is Unstoppable. He's a good friend of mine from around here. He's all about unstoppable and overcoming, and he's intense.
Oh, Julia,
though.
you just had me at DDP. Oh man.
He's one of my he's a really close friend.
So
And
guess what you get to do?
What?
You get to nominate him for a $36,000 publicity too.
That would be awesome.
You cannot name Steven. That's it, because he's already. but Julia, we extend this to people that actually step up, and you stepped up to help with the energy science. But we want to actually help promote you and give you way more value than you were expecting, because I can see your heart. You definitely are a person that plays big. So let's give your company and the audience an understanding of what they can do when they win.
Awesome.
Right?
All right, Andrea, I see you're back. Go ahead, count back from 5.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
One more time.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Perfect.
And
All
Steven,
right.
you'll get a chance to count again next week, okay?
Perfect. Thanks.
All right, guys, here we go. We are coming back in
No,
now.
I get it.
This is Amplify. To reach the show today, please call 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. We also would love to hear from you via email to info@umbrellasyndicate.com. Now, back to Amplify.
All right, this is Ken Rochon on Amplified Influencer Channel, Voice America. So glad to have you back for the second segment, and we are excited to take a deeper dive with Julia to find out how she helps bring smiles to the world, not just to herself. Andrea, you want to give a quick shout out to a couple of our sponsors?
Absolutely. Bees.social, the crypto literacy program for the people, by the people. Also, the Umbrella Syndicate, the Red Carpet Connection, mymakeuplady.com, Lynn Benavides, the EMFfix.com, Voice America Influencers Channel, menfashion.com for the shirts that Ken wears when he's speaking on stage. And we want to remind you to think of the keepsmilingmovement.com, saving lives with smiles by creating a dose of hope.
So Julia, that was a wonderful first segment about learning who you are and how committed you are to being unstoppable. And you just mentioned someone that is also unstoppable. So I wanted to share with the audience what we presented to you during the break. When we meet somebody that moves us, we have a project called Dose of Hope, and dose is for dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins, which are the chemicals released, as you know, when you are excited, you're in love, you anticipate winning, and you're alive. So this is the cover. And to give you an idea, there are books that are like this. This is Keep Smiling Hun, which are Baltimore, what is it, Hairspray? You remember the movie Hairspray?
Yes.
So a little difference in the size. So this is an 800-page book, and we have 3 of them, and we're going to do 12, and we'd like to include you. Stephen, because of the the girth of his beard, but also his smile that he brings with his beard is actually qualified. But what you shared in the first segment, and also the fact that you stepped up and helped the Energy Science Technology Conference, which, if you're not aware, are rebels. They're people that actually want to cause a better world at the expense of their safety at some points. They are creating free energy, magnetic energy, solar, water energy, and they're taking deep dives into getting patents and doing whatever it takes to make the world better, more sustainable. So when I heard that you were one of the sponsors, I just wanted to acknowledge that you are someone that is cutting edge. You're someone that is to be honored. And most importantly, you're someone to be followed, because the people that actually cause the world to be great are the ones that are typically at the front. So I just wanted to tell you thank you. And with that, this particular offering is $36,000 because it reached 10 million people, and it's 12 months of exposure of your inspiring story, which so far I am moved, touched, and inspired. So thank you for being who you are.
Absolutely. It's exciting. And I do hope that, with my company, it's, essentially it's a business, this is what I do for a living. But like today, the hug that I gave the mother who needed a hug, who was crying on my shoulder, those are things that I don't have to do, that I don't get paid for. And, there are times that, when I say there are times, almost 100% of the time, we do what we're not paid for. And that's because my goal is to help people get well. And I do want to inspire those around me with the same mindset and the same fields or in healing therapies to get together with me, and let's expose what's going on in the mental health arena, and actually get back to healing people.
So I want you to be with this comment that I'm going to say back in response to, we don't get paid to hug people, because I know that you do it because you believe in it. I get that. Okay. So that's not a challenge, but here's the point. The reason we're giving this opportunity to you is because you don't charge for hope, and you don't charge for smiles either. So you don't charge for hugs, hope, and smiles. And when you do, it actually turns it into the wrong message. So you'll find, as you know, you're more sustainable when you are not charging for the things that should be free in life, which is caring.
That's absolutely true.
So
that's absolutely true.
Thank you. And you mentioned somebody that came to mind when I said the word unstoppable. And I don't normally do this, but it was so pronounced in our break. I'd like you to give not only a shout out, but why that person was so inspiring to you.
Sure. A really good friend of mine named Diamond Dallas Page, who obviously has his DDPY empire. He's known for WWE, and even he does a lot of work with AEW now, and is a mentor to many of the young men and children of people that he worked with before. But he has a book called Positively Unstoppable, and Diamond Dallas Page is a friend of mine, and he has normal struggles like everybody else. He is always working to help other people, lift them up, and help them to heal. And he's inspiring. He talks all about the story you tell yourself, and that reigns in my head. I would sit with him in here, and he's done a little bit of promoting for me. I never asked him to, because I built a friendship with him and I was truly there to help him, but he did it just because he has a good heart. Diamond Dallas Page, his goal in life is to help people have the opportunities and the healing and the type of story that he's had. So yeah, I'll give my shout out to Diamond Dallas Page.
So Diamond Dallas Page, and you live in what area?
The Atlanta area.
Atlanta. So
in the middle of nowhere, Atlanta area.
Well,
so you know.
I live in the mountains. Diamond Dallas Page lives with the regular people. So
okay. Well, Stephen is texting me profusely. Make them get on a plane so we can all three go together to the studio and get our smile shot together. So thank you, Stephen.
Yeah. DDP will smile with you, and he is so good about that. He is actually the most approachable human being on the planet, and he would love to smile with you and take a picture.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got to tell you, there's nothing like an unstoppable smile. There's nothing like an unstoppable smile. So, Stephen, it sounds like you're going to be coordinating the three of you guys coming into the office. So I'm excited about that. So let's talk
DD Feel
about.
make you come to him. I know him.
So
Cool.
I want to give you something to talk about. You might see something like this when you go to Julia's office.
I wear them to grow my beard, actually.
So I will let you ask her a question about this while I put it on for you guys.
Okay. Now, I feel, Julia, this is me being completely vulnerable. When I put it here, I don't feel like I'm getting the brain effects that I'm supposed to get with this particular device.
Yeah, and it tends to get tangled in the beard hair.
Well, no, but
And
it makes
kinda-
great dental floss. I've actually used it for dental floss with the beard, and that's the only purpose I've seen that it
I'm
works for.
assuming that it was Steven's beard hair, so that was the problem because you don't have one. So I'm getting a picture here that I don't want.
Well, God
Gotcha.
bless. I'll tell you what, that is definitely a hat you want to wear to the party.
Yes, it is a hat. You know why you want to wear that hat to the party?
Tell me.
Because that hat is going to tell me how to make you the best you at the party.
Good deal.
So,
And tell us how it does that.
sure. All those little buttons she was showing you on the inside. So on the outside, right? Oh, her head disappeared. That was scary.
No, there we
So
go.
that doesn't happen in neurotherapy. But you see those little wires there. So we put gel, a conductive salt-based gel, through those little holes on the outside, and it after some prep, and it conducts electrical activity, and we can measure that. So basically, all of the processes of thinking and processing and all the stuff going on in your brain produces an electrical frequency. It's activity, it's work, and we're able to measure that activity. Based on how that activity is shows up in a brain map, once we have that information, I'm able to find areas of what we call dysregulation of brainwave activity. So this is surface brainwave. I can do deep brain, but I work in surface mostly. Once we discover that, we place sensors on the scalp that are also measuring, but according to the areas that we've discovered as being dysregulated, this is another simple explanation. My computer has a protocol that has been designed for those areas of your brain. And let's say there's a bracket of what we call normal. Let's pretend this is our bracket. Brain waves are being measured against that bracket of normal. There is an overlay on your screen and a bell tone response. So that screen will brighten according to getting into that box a certain percentage of the time. When that happens, the brain picks up on it, kind of like a Pavlov's dog conditioning response. It says, "Ooh, I like this. Bright is good, bell tones are good," and it begins to work over and over to get itself regulated into that box, if you will. That's how we're beating that path through the woods. We're forming, through neuroplasticity, a new neural pathway that's ideal for the brain and functions more optimally.
Awesome. So I get most of that. I want to make sure, because Andrea spent more time with you talking about this product, and obviously she was representing you to some degree at ESTC. I want to make sure she's able to give some of the experiences she's had, as well as any questions she has at this point.
You're muted.
The cool part that I can say from all of this is that with so I'm actually trained in neurofeedback as well, but her ability and what they've done now with the modernization since I learned it 15 years ago is phenomenal, because it can peak performance that could be used for this. So at the Energy and Science, I was thinking, wow, if we did this for people like Griffin, who's 17 and already a genius, he's already amazing. Can you imagine if we could get more of his brain working to provide even more information? What wealth of knowledge is hidden in that beautiful brain of his? And then for people who are struggling and having challenges, how to awaken those parts of the brain to get them working and wiring in such a way that they're able to process the information more rapidly. So Julia, if you want to specifically talk about maybe some of the troubles people have overcome, that would be great.
Yeah, one thing that we're dealing with a lot is traumatic brain injury. And it's interesting when we're talking about traumatic brain injury is that today, and even in the past, somebody can hit their head and not have acute tissue damage, and it's not considered brain injury. But over time, we see that something's different, or something's changed since that point. So whiplash, hits to the head that maybe don't produce acute tissue damage, can still create surface dysregulation of brainwave activity. Also, one thing that people, and I'm going to recommend a documentary called Quiet Explosions Healing the Brain. It's on Prime, because what it talks about is the dysregulation or miscommunication that happens in the hippocampus and or damage, and or the miscommunication between the hypothalamus and pituitary, where hormone regulation begins. So hormones begin in the brain. So we have this whole process and cascade of things that aren't working. The brain isn't working optimally. And we can see that in a brain map. So what we're able to do, and we are part of the brain injury story, which is taking these areas of the brain that are no longer working like they're supposed to and saying, hey, brain, there's a better way to do this. Let's reconnect and let's cause a pathway that accommodates you feeling better, processing better, and isn't such a, that fixes some of these memory issues, gets the back of your brain working again with the front of your brain, and so on. So that's one thing we can do with the neurotherapy. And then by getting somebody before someone certified in, for instance, Dr. Gordon's hormone protocol, we can restore the hormone balance that begins in the brain that causes mental health and cognitive health to be restored. So it's a combination of things. Anxiety is really easy for us to resolve, actually. It's kind of a sweet spot with neurotherapy. If you come in with anxiety, panic attacks actually are more generated by dysregulation and blood sugar, which we can fix right off the bat. But anxiety as a whole, we can resolve. And ADD, ADHD.
How do you fix that? How do you fix that?
With anxiety or panic attacks?
Actually, either.
Okay, so I'll take you down panic attacks, because you don't need me for this. All right, anybody can do this. So our diets, American diet is kind of a mess. Let's just be honest. And people are on high carbohydrate, high sugar diets, and we have schedules with eating. So if you go long periods of time, for instance, without eating, your blood sugar drops. When blood sugar drops, it's a signal to the adrenal gland to produce adrenaline. So when adrenaline kicks in, we can have an anxiety attack or a panic attack. This can also happen in the middle of the night. People often wake up with panic attacks or, a lot of cortisol flooding through their body, because in their sleep, their blood sugar has dropped and they've had this, sudden release of adrenaline and cortisol. Your body's saying, hey, blood sugar's low, wake up, do something. This is an emergency. So we put ourselves into a kind of a crisis state, and then believe it's a mental state. And so then we medicate it and never get to the bottom of it. Then we have a side effect from the medication, and this whole cycle begins. So sometimes,
how do we medicate?
Huh?
How do we medicate?
Oh, I'm not saying we should medicate.
I'm saying how does one medicate that causes it to cycle still?
Sure. When someone is having panic attacks, let's pretend they're given something like Klonopin. Klonopin essentially reduces and puts a lid on brainwave activity, if you will. So when I do an EEG and somebody's on Klonopin, I can barely see their brainwaves, just itty bitty little movements. So Klonopin might help with the initial anxiety response and kind of paralyze that, or put a lid on it versus resolving it. But over time, the person loses interest in life. They become depressed, unmotivated.
Apathetic.
And all of a sudden, we're dealing with depression. So then we medicate depression. So then we have cognitive issues, because all this medication is putting a lid on everything. And now we're not just not functioning like we used to. So there's this whole cycle of things. I'm not anti-medication. There are times that medication is needed.
What is the device called that Andrea is sporting?
The Brain Master neurotherapy training device. So there are many names for neurotherapy. I personally use Brain Master Technologies, which is cutting edge, very leading in the field of neurotherapy and advancements in the technology.
And the device, it's good for anyone. I mean, if you're looking at someone that is working optimal, like a Griffin Brock, who is at the event, who is potentially a future Einstein, it doesn't matter who you are, you're going to have a better experience in life because you're actually connecting. Okay.
Yep. It helps to produce optimal performance, peak performance.
Yeah. So when you're talking about someone like an Elon Musk, for instance, them using this would only make them more optimal.
There are a lot of things it would do for Elon Musk. Yes. I have a lot of analysis on Elon Musk's behavior and what he experiences, but yes, it could help him to communicate with the world about his ideas in a much better way that may be advancing for him and his company.
Yes. So the reason I bring this up is because in a world where we are talking about abundance being obviously the achievement of happiness and freedom, your device actually allows people to accelerate that experience. And
Absolutely.
so what does this cost? What is the outlay to actually have a life you love?
It's going to depend on what a brain map looks like. I'm going to determine that based on, I have some parameters, obviously, but it can run, if we're doing our remote distance training, it can run anywhere from $2,800 for the full program, which regardless of the price or what type of program you do, your training is always going to be top notch. So it can run from $2,800 to $4,500 for optimal training that involves a lot of monitoring, oversight, the counselor, and a lot of different things that go into this. So,
well, thank you for answering that. I want to say that price is obviously not something people want to talk about when you don't understand the value. And so I think we established the value very clearly. So one value is if you're not functioning, this allows you to function. So that's a no-brainer, literally. And then the second one is if you are functioning at a high level and you're able to double your income, if you're making 100,000 or $250,000, you're doubling it. This is obviously also a justifiable expense. So,
well, and let's be clear, I'm not saying that I'm going to make you, double your income, but what I am saying is that I'm going to help you to have the ability to double your income and help you perform and communicate better at what you already do. So,
yeah. And by the way, I wasn't
remove barriers.
Thank you, Julie. And I wasn't insinuating that. What I was insinuating is that you have a double efficiency or higher. I mean, it's not about doubling. It's about if I was working, let's say 80 hours a week to have what I have, and I cut it to 40 and I'm making the same amount of money, I actually am enjoying life more.
Absolutely the point. Absolutely. We're going to help you optimally reach your goals.
Good. Cool.
Yeah, one thing too, Julia, she does help with people who are at a genius level, because sometimes on the genius level, we were talking about that, how she'll say they'll focus on one thing that they think is helping them be most productive, and that one thing may actually be taking them away from part of their productivity. So they need some more establishment of balance because they tend to be hyper focused on one thing.
Well, we have some rapid fire questions, but go ahead and finish your thought. Go ahead and finish your thought, Julia.
I was going to say one thing about genius and people that are above average in their mental capacity is they tend to not be the happier people, because if they're not performing at the peak of their ability or their potential, they're more aware of it than somebody who performs more average. And so that's a really unhappy place for them.
Very good point. And by the way, Malcolm Gladwell has a book that says that the people that perform on the lower half think they do way better, whereas the people that are at the very highest think they perform very horribly because they know that gap they could be playing at.
Exactly. So that's exactly right.
Let's go ahead and do some rapid fire. Stephen, are you going to play with us since you're here with us still?
Do it. Bring the beard back on camera.
I don't normally ask this, but what's your favorite beard? No, just kidding. Okay, here we go. What book changed your life? We'll start with Julia.
Life Without Strife by Joyce Meyer.
Okay, and I'm guessing, Stephen, yours is Life Without a Beard by...
I'm going to go with Start With Why, Simon Sinek.
Beautifully said. And that's part of our template, by the way, that was inspired for the Dose of Hope. Go ahead, Andrea.
A song that you play to jazz you up. Julia?
Mine is emotional. It's by Shane and Shane, and it's called Psalm 34.
Cool. Stephen?
Gosh, really depends on the mood I'm in, but it could go anywhere from hard rock all the way to Elton John. It truly just depends on the day.
We will go with that. Elton John. We're going to go. Nice. We'll pick a nice Elton John song. Okay, let's go to Julia with a movie that inspires you.
Aaron Brockovich.
Look at you with a smile and everything. Stephen?
A movie that inspires me. Boy, there's a million, and for some reason,
I want the first 100,000 now.
Let's do. I'm going to go old school because I was just watching it the other day with my kids. The Lion King.
I thought it was going to be Chariots of Fire for sure, but there you go. All right, and we are down to a minute, so let me just go ahead and ask the last question. What's a quote you live by, Julia?
What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul?
God bless you.
Wow.
Beautiful. Awesome.
You had that one locked and loaded and ready to go.
Yeah, Stephen, that's going to be hard to top.
That's a tough one. I really can't think of a quote off the top of my head.
I can't even think of something where you could add beard to that quote and have it actually make sense.
Stay bearded, stay positive.
God.
What does it profit a man to lose his beard? And
to lose his soul with his beard. Like that's a
Yes,
no-brainer.
there you go.
to gain the world and lose his beard. Yeah.
All right. Well,
So
I
we
look
want
forward
to
to meeting
thank our
both of you.
sponsors. Let me do that real quick so I can go back to you, Ken, for the close. That is bees.social, the Umbrella Syndicate, the Red Carpet Connection, menfashion.com, the emffix.com, mymakeuplady.com, and the Umbrella Syndicate, and the keepsmilingmovement.com as a charity of choice. Back to you, Ken.
Well, thank you both for being on the program. Julia, we have amplified your heart, I hope, and we're looking forward to sharing your story, your inspiring story, and your conviction to make the world better. And I think we've bearded you, Stephen, at some level that we've never done before with a guest. So I look forward to
meeting the beard on the national map today.
God bless. So we're going to have hopefully all three of you part of the Keep Smiling movement, and specifically the Dose of Hope, so we can reach millions and inspire them that there is hope and there's always a choice. Thank you. I'm Ken Rochon with Voice America. We'll see you next week.
We hope you've enjoyed this week's edition of Amplified. Be sure to join Ken Rochon
Again next Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time and 8 a.m. Pacific Time on the Voice America Influencers channel.
Now, go get your message heard.